Hey, what's going on? Matt O'Leary here, hanging out with you for the next hour. Oh, I can't wait. It's another Sunday, which means another stream is coming at you. We are inching so much closer to the NFL draft, 18 freaking days away. 8 days until the NFL draft. I am amped up. I'm ready to go. Make sure to get your questions in on the chat. If you're new here, subscribe, give this, all that fun stuff. Some other housekeeping as we continue to get that out of the way, an inch closer to the NFL draft. If you are living under a rock and don't know, myself, Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7, and Green Bean will be on for all 3 days of the NFL draft, live streaming on Jets Talk 24/7's channel. This is our third year doing it now, and each year it's gotten bigger and bigger. I cannot wait. I love it. It's genuinely my favorite thing we do every single year. It's 3 long days. It's a lot of time on camera, but it's so much fun, and we love hanging out with you guys. So we're going to hop right into it, man, because the focus is on the draft now. We kind of shifted and got away from it was free agency, and now it's heading into the NFL draft. So let's just hop right in. We'll go through. Caden says, what up? What's going on, Caden Smith? Thanks for coming in. Drew with the hot take to get us started, man. DK trade on Tuesday. I'm calling it now. I'm going to write that down. If you're in here next Sunday hanging out with us, I'm going to remind you if he wasn't traded for. I love it. Ooh, interesting for Matt Curtis. Wide receiver at 4 if Thibodeau is gone. I would be surprised if the Jets went that route. My guess would be that they would take Jermaine Johnson, who is my edge 4. I still prefer George Karlaftis as edge 3. I would probably go Hutchinson, Thibodeau, Karlaftis, Jermaine Johnson, and then a significant step down and Trayvon Walker. That's the one that I don't want the New York Jets to pick, Trayvon Walker, because he'd be playing a position that he hasn't really played a whole lot. Which is on the edge. More often than not at Georgia, he was playing on the interior. And he was really, but I just think he needs work as a pass rusher. And you'd be asking him to do something that he didn't necessarily do in college, which frightens me a little bit. So I would say no to the wide receiver. I get to go edge. Another edge that they prefer, the highest on their board at that point. What's your thoughts on grabbing Ojabo at 35 or 38 for our edge, thus allowing us to go Sauce at 4 and wide receiver at 10? Ojabo seems like he can be great value once he becomes healthy earlier in the second. I don't think it's a lock that he's going to be there in the second round. I think he goes in the back half of the first round, even still with this injury. And I think that's too much of a risk for the Jets because, you're hoping that this guy pans out, or one, you're hoping that he falls there, and then you're hoping that the injured player becomes healthy. So I get it. I get where this logic is coming from, but I'd be very surprised if they went Sauce Gardner at 4. If they go edge Sauce at 10 and then trade up for a wide receiver, Okay, I can get behind that, I guess. I really like Bryce Hall a lot. And I think DJ Reed obviously was signed to be a starter. So I don't necessarily look at they need to take a corner in the top 40. Just my own take. This is kind of a hot take. Oshabo reminds me of Lorenzo Malden. No thanks. Okay. I don't know if I see that, but there would certainly be some risk involved. Here's a hot take. Jermaine Johnson would be the best edge rusher in this draft. Yeah, I think he does have a very high ceiling. I like the tape that I've seen from him at Florida State. So I don't think that this is like, I mean, yes, it's a hot take because Aiden Hutchinson and obviously Kayvon Thibodeaux are kind of like the guys in this edge class, but I like the thought of Jermaine Johnson with a high ceiling. I think it's there. I think that would make sense. Jack says Garrett Wilson will be okay. So we're gonna say like he has more of an impact when he comes into the league. I guess that's fair. But yeah, I think that's totally fair. I like Garrett Wilson a whole lot. I think he's going to be excellent. And I think he has a very high floor. Steven says Greenbean said it perfectly, and I've always had the same thinking as him. If someone has injury concerns, they will come here and never heal. They go somewhere else and they'll be superstars. It feels that way, right? Doesn't it really feel that way? That's just the Jets' luck. The 100 Club. If the quarterback market is going to be big next year, should we trade to get a second 23 first? Not as insurance for Zach, but as a mega trade value? That's one way to look at it. I guess you could do it like that. Like a smart way to look at it. I am just very tired of kicking these assets just down the line and keep getting, picks and picks and picks. I would like to get some players in here and start winning some football games. So I understand where this logic is coming from, and it's not bad. I would just I kind of want to put more of an emphasis on trying to win games now. And I know the take is going to be, well, the AFC is stacked. Well, okay, yes, that's true. No one thought the Cincinnati Bengals were going to be as good as they were this past year. They're surprise teams all the time, and like, I don't know, playoff drought has been to take a significant competitive step forward. One winning season since 2011 is not going to cut it for me anymore. ZM says, hey, Matt, if you were to make a trade in the draft, would you want to trade down from 4 or 10 or trade back up into the first so we'd have 3 firsts? I think my preference would probably be to do a package and trade back up into the first. And then maybe if that's the case, like I would say Thibodeaux for your favorite wide receiver on the board at 10, and then trade up and maybe take maybe at that point you take Linderbaum, or maybe at that point you take Nakobe Dean, or someone else if another prospect continues to fall. That would really intrigue me. I'm not opposed to trading up because you have that asset. You have those assets in order to move up and make an impact on your team right away. And a 50-year option on it. I mean, that works too. What do you think of Peter Schrager's mock? Sauce at 4 and Jameson Williams at 10? I like I kind of said earlier, I don't think the Jets are going to use it on corner. Maybe they prove me wrong. Sauce is a very special player, and like I don't want it misconstrued where it's like, oh my god, Matt hates Sauce Gardner. No. I just would be surprised if this regime puts an emphasis on corner over edge pass rush. Again, don't hate the player Sauce. I think if he was to be the pick by the Jets, I would think we're more likely to see that at 10. I don't think he makes it to 10. I think he goes to the Giants at 7. That would be my guess. And Jameson Williams, I think before the injury was probably going to be the number 1 receiver in this class. So there's a little bit of risk involved due to the injury. If you trade back from 10, I would not be opposed to taking Jameson, I guess. But Jameson taking Williams, and we're assuming that Garrett Wilson's still on the board, that would be a little bit surprising for me, I think, anyway. I don't think early, the first 5 picks, if any of them are repeat positions. I would think the positions that the Jets would be looking to attack in no particular order would be edge, wide receiver, linebacker, safety, and then offensive line, interior defensive line later, running back later, maybe another tight end later. Like that's 8 different positions that I listed off for was how many picks they have? 9 picks in this year's draft class. So I think there's a chance you see like, okay, you take I don't know, someone in the first round and then repeat on that position like at the end of the draft. But like if the question is like double dipping at wide receiver in the top 40, I would be very surprised. Or double dipping at edge rusher in the top 40, I'd be very surprised. So I guess in that sense, no. I could not disagree with this more. Edge isn't the need it's made out to be. We added 2 in free agency plus getting Lawson back. If we draft edge, it's probably early second, not first. I could not, with all due respect, Paul, I could not disagree with this more. Are we counting Solomon Thomas as the edge? Because he's more of an interior guy. Like the depth piece that you got from Houston, edge is a massive need on the other side of Carl Lawson because we're also assuming John Franklin Myers is going back on the inside. I really, really disagree. I think edge is the biggest need on the defensive side of the ball. Followed by linebacker, safety, and then I don't love the idea that Quincy Williams is going to be a starter on this team next year. I thought he was a massive liability in coverage. I think he is fine, rotating in every once in a while, but I don't think he is a, 3-down player for your team. I'm still interested at Trey McBride at 35 or 38, especially if they don't trade for a true number 1 receiver, another weapon for Wilson. Uzomah and Conklin aren't on the roster in 3 years. I don't think you have the luxury of thinking like that. 3 of like a backup plan 3 years down the line. I would think it would be very surprising if they ran 2 tight end or 3 tight end sets. But if you wanted to take a developmental one to sit behind them for a year or 2 and then one of them leaves, that's fine. But I think especially at age, he's 26. Like, I don't think it's a lock that he's not going to be on the roster in 3 years. Who knows what Uzomah is going to be in 3 years from now, I guess. But I don't this way, unfortunately, Zach. Love this. Caden's working right now, but the live stream is keeping him going. Love that. Thank you very much. Well, let's see. Let's see what Alan has to say. What do you think they will do with the 69th pick? If they go edge, wide receiver, safety, and linebacker with the first 4, I would look at Cole Strange or Greg Dulcich. I think that's fair. At that point, I think that's very fair. Depth on the offense is more than okay with me in the 3rd round. I think that's when you could start looking for either your offensive line depth, maybe your tight end depth at that point, or that's the earliest that I would look at interior defensive line depth. But I think you could probably 4th round there. But I think either of those options that you just laid out are more than okay for what the direction the Jets are going to go at pick 69. I think I will say this though, I think it's too early for running back. If the Jets are going to draft a running back, assuming they don't sign like a Melvin Gordon, which I necessarily wouldn't be opposed to. But like, let's just say for a second, they're going to draft somebody. I think the 4th is the earliest that I'd be looking for. And those are, the names, Brian Robertson. Oh my God. Hassan Haskins, even Tyler Algier, even though he's not a bit, I think really well. First draft Jets have a chance at an edge rusher in a long time. Got to take a shot. Yeah, it's true. The Jets haven't had a legitimate edge presence since John Abraham, and he hasn't been on the team since 2005. Granted, in those 2009 and 2010 years, they got pressure because they were, they were blitzing like crazy. And like you had Calvin Pace for a couple of years. You had a 10 sack Muhammad Wilkerson year, but they haven't had that one guy who was like, oh my God, this guy's going to come screaming in off the edge and he's going to fight and give you close to 10 sacks, if not more, every single year. And I'm like a huge Sean Ellis fan. You can't see it. It's up on the wall behind the Jets sign over there. I have his jersey framed, but that's more of a 3-4 defensive end, right? That's not the speed off the edge. They really, really need it. Because Carl Lawson, I think that he can still be a very good player coming back from injury, but you need more. Especially on the edge. So I agree. I agree 100%. If Hutch and KT fall to Hutchinson, I think I would take Aiden Hutchinson. I would be downright stunned if he even makes it past pick 1. And then Detroit at pick 2. I don't know how he makes it to pick 4. I really don't. But if he does, then he's absolutely the pick. Another one here. Okay. Looking at the Jets' top 30 visits, most of the names are clearly round 1 or 2. And one that surprised me is likely tight end from Coastal Carolina. Yes, that's true. Because not that he isn't good. And I don't think that Allen's suggesting that he isn't good. It's just, I don't look at him as the fit in this offense at tight end. Because I'm worried if he is going, which this offense asks their tight ends to block. I mean, look at what in San Francisco, Kittle is phenomenal because of how good of a blocker he is. Here they signed Uzomah, who's a good blocker, and Conklin at times is a pretty good blocker. But I would think Jeremy Ruckert would be a fit. I would think Trey McBride would be a fit, and later on, I would think guys like Jake Ferguson would be a fit in the system. So I agree. I was a little bit surprised when I saw that name too. I feel like we only double dip on wide receivers if we start drafting a wide receiver in the first. I feel like JD will be set up with that. Yeah. And like, look, I know there are people who want to wait and say like, hey, there's a chance there's going to be a good wide receiver at 35. I think all the receivers who are going to be sitting there for you at pick 35 all either are not fits or have a red flag slash question mark, like Pickens. Okay. Coming off an injury. John Dotson, small, isn't exactly what the Jets are looking for. Christian Watson coming in here at this point, like, is he going to come in from North Dakota State and put up big numbers right away? I think that's a massive gamble. Is his play strength going to translate at this level? I think that is a fair question with him. With the wide receivers who are projected in the first round, I feel, to me, and you're entitled to your own opinion, but to me, it's a little bit too risky. And I know people are going to say, well, these receivers that people find receivers in the second round all the time that are good. A lot of these Pro Bowl guys aren't taken in the first round. Okay, I hear that. But outside of Elijah Moore, it's not like the Jets have had a luck with that. I thought Denzel Mims was going to change that trend. Not the case as of right now. Devin, Chad Hansen, swing and a miss. Ardarius Stewart, swing and a miss. You keep going back on guys like that. It's not as easy as some people make it out to be. Quincy was definitely not a liability on coverage. I don't know if we were watching the same team then, Daryl. Mario says Deebo Samuel would be amazing in a Jets uniform. LOL. Yeah, sign me up for that. If negotiations are really that bad, and he's deleting all of his San Francisco 49ers content over on IG, yeah, get me in over there. I wouldn't be mad with one of the top 2 running backs in the second. I would. With the number of needs the Jets have, um, I think to fill definite starters with the top 40 picks. Um, and I like Michael Carter. I think you need to add a complement piece with Michael Carter, but there is no reason for the Jets to put that much of an emphasis on the running back position. None. When you have the holes that you do at linebacker, safety, edge, wide receiver, um, I would take a cornerback before I would take a running back for this team. It doesn't make sense. I think the first team that you maybe see a running back go to, Arizona in the second round. And I like the value on some of these running backs who are going to be there on day 3. So that's going to be a pass for me, Matt. If we take Sauce, where do Reed and Bryce Hall play? I can tell you, it would be Sauce and Reed on the outside, and Bryce Hall would not be starting, which I'm not a fan of. I think is a starting caliber. Is he a number 1? No. Is he a good number 2? I think yes. And I think Reed was brought in here to be a number 1. I like Michael Carter a lot too. I think Brandon Echols would be really good as the first guy in off the bench. I don't look at corner as big of a need as some do. Would I be upset if they take Sauce Gardner? Upset's a hard word, like a very strong word to use. I don't know if that's necessarily the right one to say in this spot, but yeah, it would be if they draft him, Bryce Hall is not starting. Sean Ellis, literally one of my favorite Jets. Huge fan. How would you feel if the only wide receiver the Jets pick is Jameson Williams at pick 10? Nervous. There's a ton of upside with Jameson Williams, and he'd feel a huge fit. Deep threat, speed, love that. Coming off the injury scares me. I can't lie. The Jets have not had very much luck with injury history over the last 2 years. So that's why I don't want any part of Derek Stingley. It's not that I don't think Derek Stingley could be good at the next level. That's a massive risk on a top 10 pick. The Jets need someone on those picks. They need someone to come in and impact right away. So that's the only reason that it would scare me. Ooh, good question. Bigger impact in their rookie contracts, Muhammad Wilkerson or Quinnen Williams? I think Muhammad Wilkerson. Let me pull up the numbers. I think Mo Wilkerson made a Pro Bowl on his rookie contract. No? Yeah, in 2015. Was that his rookie deal? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I guess that was a 5th-year option. Yeah. And he had 2 double-digit sack seasons. Yeah, I don't really think that's particularly close. I think it's Mo Wilkerson. Yeah, I mean, that would make the 2020. Sorry, I should read this. I would love for Becton and Mims to come through for us this year. I would too. I think Becton has the better chance of the two. I think Becton could come in and be a very good tackle for this team based on, what we saw from him. And Mims, like there were flashes I think with how bad he was last year, I don't think you can go in with any expectation of him being anything higher than your number like your 5 wide receiver. And if he gives you more than that, phenomenal. That's good. But again, we want to make sure that's right. Having to throw to the 2021 version of Denzel Mims and Jeff Smith and guys you've never heard of in the final weeks of the year, not great. I don't think you want that over a full year. Would the Panthers trade up from 6 to 4 with us to get their quarterback? I don't think they would. I was going to say, I don't think they have to move up, but I guess there's a fear that someone wants to jump in front of them. because the Giants are taking offensive line. The Jets aren't taking a quarterback. The only team where that can maybe take a quarterback in the top 5 is Detroit. So I don't think they need to necessarily move up at that point, unless they are scared that the Saints are going to try. We're back. That was scary. I think we are much more likely to see them take an offensive tackle. I think we're back. We should be back now. Yeah, I know. I'm frozen. I'm back. I'm sorry, guys. Refresh it. Okay. If you get your ideal draft, then over under 7.5 wins, I think the goal should be 8. Yeah, I think the goal should be at least 8 wins. If you get the perfect draft, 9 is like a home run, but I think you should be hovering around 500. So I'm going to say 8 wins is the goal at that point for you. So thank you for the super chat, 100 Club. I would hope for over. 7 and 10 would kind of be disappointing. Jets forever. The goal is winning the Super Bowl. Of course, that is the goal. That's the goal every single year. It should be to win the Super Bowl. But that's a lot. That's very easier said than done. Ooh, which quarterback has the biggest jump in year 2? Who has the biggest regression? Biggest regression, I'm going to say Mac Jones. Or maybe Davis Mills. No, I'll go Mac. Not that he regresses, but I just don't think he takes that much of a step forward. I think he's kind of plateau. And I think all 3 of Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, and Zach Wilson take significant steps up. That's going to be my guess. What else do we got in here? 8 wins is never going to happen. Look at the schedule: AFC West and AFC North, 5 to 6 wins tops. That would be unfortunate if the Jets win 5 or 6 games this year. I'd be upset with a 5 or 6 win season. I don't want to hear the schedule excuse every single year. That they say that every year. Oh, the Jets have the hardest schedule. Just win games. Do you think Sauce is the real deal? Yeah, I think he is a back. I think he's a great cornerback prospect. So I would not be surprised at all to see him go early. Pick 7 is where I have him projected. Yeah, he can. He was probably a lot of people don't want to hear this. He was probably the second best rookie last year. And that roster is really not getting any better. So I think there's a chance that he does take a step back. Wait, hold on. I want to get this one up. Main goal should be to force Brady to retire with nonstop sacks. Keep getting after the quarterback. Not that they play Tampa again this year, but that's the goal. Get after the quarterback. What round we take an offensive tackle as backup and who? Maybe like the 3rd round. would be the start at that point. I want to pull up some. I'll pull up some rankings on my phone and see if I can give you a good answer for you for who is going to be there. Like Falele is probably going in the second round. NFL tackle rankings. Someone brought up Cole Strange before for offensive draft, but that's not a bad answer for you. Maybe you have guys like Abraham Lucas, Washington State. Yeah, that's probably Nicholas Petit-Frere from Ohio State, guys like that, maybe. But I would say the third round is the earliest you're going to start seeing positions like that start to go. Did you see the video of the one-handed catch I sent you? No, V-Man, I did not. I'm going to have to check. I will check the chat after this. I did not get a chance to see the one-handed catch yet, but I will definitely look at it. Appreciate it. Anthony says Elijah will definitely be better this year too. Yeah, he should be. He definitely should be. I think he takes a step forward. And I think if he's healthy, he puts up about 1,000 receiving yards, which would be great. The Jets haven't had an 1,000 yards receiver since 2015. Side note, what's your favorite 80s movie? Breakfast Club just played today. Man, that's a tough question. Probably either Karate Kid or Rocky IV would be my answer. John wants Gardner at 4, Jermaine Johnson at 10, trade back into the first round and get Christian Watson. Not for me. Not for me. The Jermaine Johnson might not. I think there's a chance he's there at 10, but I don't think it's a lock. And Christian Watson is not a receiver that I love in this draft. Oh, yeah, here we go. Back to the Future, Rocky IV. Back to the Future is good too. Ghostbusters. There you go. Anthony says Barrios is going to make that check worth. Yeah, I think Barrios is going to be really good this year too. Rocky IV is very specific. LOL. What's not to love? What's not to love about Rocky IV? People forget Rocky IV ended the Cold War. Not really, folks. That was a joke. Ooh, this is a good one. When we look back in 5 years, the best player in the 2022 draft will be, man. Honestly, like Tyler Linderbaum's not a bad answer for this. Icky could also be a good answer here too. Offensive lineman, best skill position player. If you were to go off a skill position, like I like Garrett Wilson, maybe like could Treylon Burks be like a wild answer? I feel like that's a big swing answer. Okay, Matthias, we'll get to this. Still no answer. What do you do when both edge rushers are gone at 4? By both edge rushers, I'm assuming that you mean Hutchinson and Thibodeau. Then I think Jermaine Johnson would be the pick at pick 4, if that is your question. Hey, Matt, are the Dolphins in trouble? They gave up a lot of picks for Hill, and the NFL might fine them a lot more after the investigation, the tanking scandal. That's true. You know, it's really about how good Tua is going to be. They will go as far as Tua will take them. I don't love what I've seen from Tua in the first 2 years in the league. Can he take that year 3 leap? It's entirely possible. They tried to make life easier for him. I like Mike McDaniel. It's going to suck to have to root against Mike McDaniel now, but yeah, we'll have to see there, but it's not going to look good. I don't think it's going to look good. Vince, bring Jason Morrow back for a coaching role. Can always learn from a first ballot Hall of Famer. LOL. I thought he was going to be good, to be honest with you. I really did. Mitt, I agree with this take, by the way. George Karlaftis, JJ. I agree with you. I don't think the NFL views it that way. So I'd be surprised if he went off the board before JJ, but I don't disagree with you. Anthony says Tua stanks. Yeah, I don't disagree. Tariq will make anyone look good. That's fair. Karlaftis is boom or bust. I think Karlaftis is safe, actually. If you want to make the case that his ceiling isn't that high, okay, I could see that. But I think his floor is relevant. I think he is a high floor player. At minimum, he's going to come in and be very good in the run game. And I think his power will transition. I think the pass is going to be there. The pass rush is going to be there, but I don't look at him as boom or bust. Jets going to win the division? Question mark? No shot. Buffalo is significantly better. Buffalo is significantly better. They should win 12 games this year. If we look out of day one with KT and JW, you happy? Yeah, I'd be happy with that. I'd be nervous with Jameson Williams, but I don't think I would be upset with it. I like this. Mike McDaniel will replace LaFleur after he gets a head coaching gig in Arizona in 2024. I love that. That's who I wanted. When I've been talking about Mike McDaniel as an offensive coordinator for a while now. I like this a lot. Anyone eat Panera? Just had their mac and cheese, grilled cheese. It was the bomb. Mac cheese, grilled cheese. Not for me, but I really only get the salad, to be honest with you. That's not a regular rotation for me. We have the second hardest schedule. I don't really I don't know. I don't really care about the schedule excuses anymore. They just have to start winning football games. Do you think we'll go center at one point in the draft? James Empey, Cam Jurgens, Dylan Parham. It's possible. It's definitely possible. I would be surprised if they did that with Linderbaum, unless they did that trade up scenario or trade back and you have multiple picks in the first round. But taking a developmental center to sit for a year, I don't think it's the worst idea. Hey, Matt, how was your day/weekend? It was good. Thank you, Jared, for asking. Let's see. Watched a lot of baseball over the weekend. Watched the Mets blow it today, which was not fun. But yeah, had a relaxing weekend, which was good. I've been busy with the day job, so it's nice to kind of just kick it for a little bit. Thank you for asking. Sneakers to Boots, what's up, dude? He says, what round do you think we need to address linebacker? We can't keep neglecting it and thinking cover linebackers don't matter. I would say second round, third at the absolute latest. I think it's important to get somebody who can cover. I agree with this. I think CJ Mosley at times struggled in coverage, and Quincy Williams is not good in coverage. So I agree. I would look to Leo Chenal, Chad Muma, Christian Harris, guys like that. I'd be looking to draft. Yeah, I would be upset with linebacker. Okay with it in the either trade up or trade back scenario. So like if you're trading back with the Saints and you end up with 2 picks in the middle there, take Devin Lloyd or Nakobe Dean. Or if you're trading up from 35 and getting back into the first round, take Devin Lloyd or Nakobe Dean. I think that's okay. Yes, as Max said, rest in peace, Dwayne. Awful news with Dwayne Haskins. Rest in peace. Just really, really sad to see an absolute tragedy. Only 24, man. That's unbelievably sad. As an Islanders fan, if the Lightning and Rangers play each other in the conference championship, I'll chug battery acid. Yeah, I'm with you there. That would be tough to watch, especially after they knocked the Islanders out the last 2 years. Yeah, not the best. That would suck. I also don't want to see Toronto for obvious reasons. I am not drinking pickle juice. I changed it up. No whiskey today. We are doing Angry Orchard, no assembly. Angry Orchard, no assembly required. It's a cider. Leo Chenal, Dean. Dude is a freak. He's going to sneak into round 1, but hopefully he falls to 35. Leo Chenal will be there at 35. I don't think he is going in the first round. And I would not be upset if they took him in the second round at 35 or 38. What up, Matt? If the Jets draft a running back, who would you like to see? Someone on day 3. Hassan Haskins, the Alabama running back, Brian Robinson Jr. or Robertson Jr., whatever. Maybe Tyler Algier. I know that's kind of that's more of a scheme fit, I guess, technically, even though it's a little redundant to have on the roster, but I think that would make sense. Oh, I'm very jealous. Watching with a scotch and great cigar. Love my Jet family and what you have to say. I appreciate that, Patrick. Enjoy your night. I'm more of a bourbon guy myself, but I am jealous of you, good sir. We drafted linebackers last year, but 2 got hurt for the season. I think we were counting on those guys. Maybe. Those guys are more of a special teams role and depth role, but I think you need more than that. Let's see what else we got in here. Ooh, okay. How would you feel if we drafted London at 10, Walker at 38, and ran a heavy run offense with our new tight ends, Uzomah and Conklin? London blocking a big body wide receiver along with big body tight ends. I get that. I think that's too early to go that route. Like, I don't think I would do that at 38, to be honest with you. I think they will try to run the ball more. And London, like I will say this about Drake London, even though he's not my favorite wide receiver option at pick 10, he would give the Jets something they currently lack, which is someone who can go up and high point the football and is a tremendous athlete. So, how do we block you? Let's get that spam out. That threw me off in here because now I'm trying to find. Anthony wants Sauce or Stingley. Okay. I get it. Stingley's injury really scares me, though. What, the schedules haven't been released yet. What are you talking about? First home game till week 6. The schedules haven't been released yet. What do you mean? Let's see what else. Damn, I just had. I can't find it. Who's better than London? I prefer Garrett Wilson. I prefer Traylon Burks, and I probably prefer Jameson Williams, to be honest with you. Drake London's my wide receiver 4. Cornerback is our least dire need. No chance of a cornerback at 4. I don't know about least dire, but I agree that I don't think I would take it at 4. Don't care about strength of schedule. Let's just take it 1 week or let's just take it week by week. Excuse me. No point in getting bummed out months before week 1. Yeah, I agree with that. There's 15 wide receivers better than London. That's a significant stretch. Hey, Matt, love the show. How would you feel about Sauce at 4, Karlaftis at 10, trade back into the first round for Burks? I see him falling 38, get a linebacker. I like Karlaftis, so I'm glad you threw him in there, but I don't think I am taking Sauce Gardner at 4 because I want to see DJ Reed and Bryce Hall on the field as starters. Trading back into the first, like it's not the worst case scenario. I think you're attacking some key positions there, but I just don't see the Jets taking not a wide receiver, excuse me, a cornerback 4th overall. Personally, I think Olave is kind of under. I think he's going to be very good. I see him going to like the Saints or the Packers, somewhere in that range. Maybe the Chiefs. I think he's probably off the board by the Chiefs, but I think he is going to be very, very good. Do you see JD more likely trading back or up in the first round? I think we could see him package picks to move up into the first round again for a 3rd first round pick. I think that is the one that I would say most likely on. If he was to move back, I think it would be pick 10. I don't think it would be pick 4. London will be a red zone threat. He would be. That's another reason why I don't hate Drake London. And that he absolutely would be a red zone threat. Ojabo can be had in the second round. I do not agree. I don't think he makes it to the second round. I think he goes at the back half of the first round. Ali Lewis, what's up, dude? How's it going, man? Reed is also not a slot corner. Have you watched him play, sir? He is not too short to play on the outside. He is actually a very physical player at his size. I don't think he is. He's not going to play in the slot. He's going to play on the outside. Ooh, hot take. Chiefs are taking Breece Hall at pick 30. I don't think so. I think they're going to take a wide receiver and a corner. I don't think they go back-to-back offensive picks. Maybe they do, but I don't think so. Oh, okay. I don't agree with this, so I'll pull this up. Wide receiver rankings: Williams, London, Olave, Moore, Wilson, Burks. Yeah, I don't agree personally. I would go. Yeah, Wilson and Burks need to be higher, in my opinion, personally. But all right. I've answered. There's a ton of Ojabo questions. I feel like I've done that. Carl Lawson, over or under 6 sacks? If he plays 17 games, I will say he gets 8 sacks this year. Food for thought, the last time the 49ers took a quarterback in the first round was the 2002 draft. That's interesting. Oh my God, the spam is back. What the hell is this? Go away, dude. Block user. Olave, London, Wilson, Burks, the rest. Okay. That's not my order, but okay. I could live with that, I guess. Is London even healthy? When is his pro day? Yeah, he had to push it back. I don't know off the top of my head when his pro day is, but it was supposedly a hamstring that pushed him back a little bit. You don't think people are overblowing Hutchinson and Thibodeau? If they're not Bosa or Young, someone has to go top 5 with no quarterbacks. No. I don't think Hutchinson or Thibodeau are on the Bosa or Young level, but that doesn't mean that I don't think they are worthy of top 5 picks. I think they'll go that early. Oh, Ryan has some positions of needs that he would like to share. I feel the top 3 positions of needs are edge, wideout, and corner. Worst case scenario for me is top 3 edge guys, and the Jets I'm in at 4. Edge and wideout are imperative in first. Ryan, yes. Preach it, sir. I agree. Hey, Matt, what do you think about Andrew Booth Jr., Clemson corner? I think he's good. I think he's going to go in the first round, probably in I guess the middle section. I put him as corner 3, I guess. And I think right now my prediction is pick 7, Sauce will go to the Giants. Pick 12, oh my God, Derek Stingley would go to the Vikings at pick 12, and then I think Booth could go anywhere after that. So from about the midway point till the early 20s, somewhere in that range. Feel that Stingley ceiling is higher than Sauce's? That honestly not a crazy thing to say. It isn't. The only thing that knocks him back for me is the number of injuries that he's had the last 2 years. He hasn't played enough over the last couple of years. So I think they both have a chance to be good players. I would feel more comfortable taking Sauce due to Stingley's last 2 years at LSU. But I don't think that is a crazy take, Austin. Not at all. Okay, this is Paul. This is just crazy town. If interior defensive line is not the biggest need, it's just not. You have Quinn Williams, interior defensive line. John Franklin Myers, interior defensive line. You just signed Solomon Thomas, interior defensive line. You brought back Nathan Shepard, interior defensive line. You took Jonathan Marshall in the draft last year, interior defensive line. That's 6 right there. You can take one in I don't know, round 4, sure, but you're not taking Jordan Davis, you're not taking Devontae Wyatt, you're not taking Travis Jones. You're just not. It's not that big of a need compared to some other positions. Budster says Wilson 25 touchdowns, 3,500 yards, 10 picks, 6 rushing touchdowns. I hope it's more than 3,500 yards. That would be on the low side for me. That is over, we're assuming 17 games here. That would be 205.8 yards per game. See him at 225, which would be 3,825. So my goal is 3,800 yards passing. But the rest, I think you're pretty close on, Budster. Oh, who's your favorite running back in the draft? Man, Breece Hall, I guess. I think he's the best. Prediction: Steelers will trade up to take Willis, and Seattle will take Karlaftis at 20. He just seems like a Pete Carroll guy. He does seem like a Pete Carroll guy. And I do think he falls to that area. I think he's someone who can go in the top. Should be a top 10 pick, but I think there's a chance he falls. Albert, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. He says, can we be realistic about draft? Most players are busting out of the NFL in 5 years or barely playing. I think if we hit on 1 out of first 4, we're good. For the Jets' sake, I hope that is not the case, because then this rebuild is going to be going on ever and ever. My hope is that of the 4, like, let's have a realistic hope for a second. I hope that they have 1 absolute stud and have 3 capable starters. I think that's for top 40 selections. James says going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets. Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to try to do that. I mean, they did earlier in the year last year, and it just didn't work because of who the personnel was. Yeah, just it did not work at all. That was brutal. Ryan Griffin and Tyler Kroft. Yuck. Can we get former Wilson BYU teammate Algier? Yeah, I like Tyler Algier. I think he would be a good fit in this offense. I know I've said that I would like a bigger body running back, but I mean, he seems to be like a really good scheme fit. Did you know he played linebacker at first? That's pretty crazy to me. James says love Linderbaum. Yeah, you're not going to get any pushback from me. He's a very good center. Very, very good center. Who else? What else we got? I have time for a few more questions, and then I am recording Just Jets. So please make sure to get in your any last minute questions, and then I will be switching over to record the podcast episode so that it's ready to drop tomorrow at some point. According to Mike Girardi, not big name wide receiver, want to play for the Jets because of questions around Wilson. How much faith do you have in Wilson? I don't buy that. I think he's fine. I too. He was quarterback 2 in the draft last year for me, behind Trevor Lawrence. So it's too easy to, or it's too early to give up on him. It's too early to give up on Justin Fields. It's too easy to give up or early to give up on Trevor Lawrence, and same thing for Trey Lance. So, Son Haskins play linebacker? That I did not know. Why is Jason Morrow's career highlight video so short? I love Jace tomorrow, man. Well, he really only played that 1 year. I thought he was going to be good, but I was very wrong. I was very, very wrong about Jason Morrow. A lot of Jet fans are going to be in shock when they take Ikem at 4. Add me on the list. I would be very surprised after adding what they did in free agency on the offensive line. Color me surprised. We did. We basically did. It was a tank last year. Were you here? My ideal Jets draft: trade for and 111 to New Orleans for 16-19. 10 JJ, 16 Williams, 19 Lloyd, 35 Brisker, 38 Ojabo, 69 Lindstrom. Not bad. I don't think Ojabo makes it to 38, but all right. Yeah, I'm with Lou here. If KT and JJ are still on the board, no way we take offensive line. I agree. Ohio State beat Clemson. Oh, God. You're pissing me off, Delhi 83. Your takes suck. Corey Davis, question mark. I think he was better this year. Pauline is saying JD is love with Trevor Penning and picking him at 10 is a real possibility. Tony Pauline has never gotten anything right about the New York Jets. I would not trust him at all. I wouldn't. All right, I'll do two more. Trevor is really, oh, nope, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted this one. JJ is not a top 5 prospect in this class. I mean, yeah, probably not. Probably isn't, but I still think he's going to go in the top 10. And I would still take him at 4. We'll do one more. Okay, we'll end on the good one. Any good Mets Isles channels on YouTube that you watch or recommend? Also, KTN 4 and trade back from 10 to take Burks. We'll do the Jets question first. KTF 4, bingo, yes. Trade back from 10 to take Burks. I like Traylon Burks a lot. I'm definitely all over that. For Mets channels, I would say Richie from Jets Mets Media. So check that out. Wardy NYM is another one. Giraffe Neck Mark has a Mets podcast and also has really good baseball coverage for Islanders. Deckhands is a very, very good one for Islanders prospects. Isles Girl 3, also a YouTube channel, and Belmont Bunch is also a very good Islanders channel. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I am going to go over now and record the Just Jets podcast. I appreciate you guys. Please make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe here if you are new. I'll talk to you next week.